One of your presentations that you give is about letting go of limiting beliefs. So I was wondering, if I'm someone who wants to create change in my life, what are 1 to 3 tips that you can share with me to get started?
Yeah. So if we look at communication, right? Anything around fear, limiting beliefs, they start with a communication process, whether it's internal or external communication, there is a process. And so if you look at your relationship with your parents, your friends, the people you work with, whoever it is, again, it goes back to communication. But if you, the individual, are able to be authentic and vulnerable, and I say this first, if you can be strong enough to be authentic and vulnerable with the people around you first, the doors that will open the right doors will open the right opportunities. So by you being authentic and vulnerable, and reason I say the doors will open for the right opportunity is
Hmm.
because there's some people that come into your life that you're authentic and vulnerable first, that are either may take advantage of that or just are not the right fit. So you are looking for the right opportunities, for the right people, for the right things to come into your life. So if you can choose to be authentic and vulnerable first, the guard comes down, it builds instant rapport, and you're able to overcome situations so much quicker. A second tip that you can have is look at an emotional reaction that you have to a situation. Think about a time where you felt sad or angry or frustrated or whatever it is, something was happening inside you. And you're having this emotional reaction to a particular situation. The number one key to disrupting that is literally disrupting the emotion. And what I say by disrupting the emotion, let's say you're feeling sad and you're down and things are just not going your way. I want you to immediately disrupt that by getting up and doing something that your body would normally not be used to doing. So if I was sitting here and I got down, because we're going to go down, but we're going to get back up. And the key is getting back up so much quicker than staying in this low point. Because if we can train ourselves to get up quicker, we're going to be more productive. We're going to be able to have better opportunities, better relationships, because we're not down low here. So if you can completely disrupt it, if I'm feeling sad, I could literally think to myself, jump up, get up, spin around 3 times and do 4 jumping jacks. You are literally shocking your body and your programming to think differently. And the really cool thing about that is if you continue to do this over and over again, if you continue to train yourself to disrupt the emotions that are not serving you, before long, you're just going to automatically, it'll be in your subconscious. It'll automatically just boom, I'm going to jump up and do it. Oh, I'm feeling sad. I got to go do this. And it becomes a normal pattern. So guess what? We're not spending all this time down here. We're spending the time up here being productive for ourselves, for the people in our lives, in our organizations, whatever it is. The third tip I have is let me answer that with a question. Okay. So do you remember how old you are or were maybe by your parents when you learned to walk?
Ooh, I don't quite remember that. Do you?
Okay. No, let's just say 3 or 4, right? You kind of learned how to walk maybe 3 or 4, let's say.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Do you remember when you did like math, like 1 plus 1 is 2? Did you remember when you learned that?
For me, I feel like that was around like 5-ish.
Okay. Okay. So what about driving a car? When did you feel comfortable when you learned how to drive a car? Have you ever today just sit there and start driving and just like before you know it, you're driving to wherever you need to go, but you're not even really thinking about it. And you just
Yep,
kind of like wake
all
up
the
in a
time.
shock. Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
So you learn to feel comfortable. There are 3 key things. It's learning, right? Our whole entire life, we're so fearful of taking our past and being so self-critical on ourselves rather than realizing, look, I learned to drive a car. I learned to do 1 plus 1 is 2. Our past is put in our life for a reason to learn. And the only goal we have is to take those opportunities, not to live in our past and be so self-critical of ourselves and what happened to us, but to learn from those situations. Because the more you learn from your past, that equates to growth.
I think we constantly fixate on, all the things we did in the past, maybe things that went wrong, when we're kind of forgetting to live in the present and, looking forward to great things in the future. So I think that's a really great way to look at that.
Yeah.